Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Gatlin, and I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs at Waldorf. And graduates, congratulations on reaching this milestone. It is my privilege to introduce our commencement speaker, Fire Chief Joseph Warren Dixon. Chief Dixon has built a career defined by leadership, service, and accountability. He served 25 years in Howard County, Maryland, rising to operations chief with significant responsibility across both operations and administration. He later served as fire chief in Goldsboro, North Carolina, where he led meaningful organizational improvements in operations, structure, and long-term stability. He has continued to serve in leadership roles, including as special advisor to the city manager in Gainesville, Florida, and remains active at the national level in advancing the profession. Chief Dixon is also a graduate of Waldorf University, where he earned his master's degree in organizational leadership, reflecting his commitment to growth and to lifelong learning. Graduates, today you'll hear from someone who's built a career on responsibility, steady leadership, and continuous growth. And if there's something to take from that as you move forward, not only in what you pursue, but also in how you choose to live and lead. So please join me in welcoming Fire Chief Joseph Warren Dixon.
Good afternoon, everyone. One correction, that was my master's that I earned here at Waldorf. And for those of you that saw the president's shoes, I don't know, I think it's because I'm not on the faculty. Did you see those spikes on those shoes? I've had to walk beside him and sit beside him with those things, but it's okay. So, giving honor to God for the marvelous things he has done, including this day he has made. President, provost, board chair, faculty, honored guests, proud families, and most importantly, you, the graduates of Waldorf University, I congratulate you. I am Joseph Dixon, born of Dorothy, Jean, the Reverend Dr. Dorothy Jean, and the very Reverend Virgil McPherson Dixon, raised in the age of hip hop. For those of you, I look around the room, maybe you know some of these names: Curtis Blow, Grandmaster Flash, LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, Run DMC. That was me. And I'm a survivor of the drug-infested streets of Baltimore, Maryland, during a time that inspired The Wire. It's an acclaimed series. If you haven't watched it, you can go and see it. But currently, I serve as chief of the Baltimore County Fire Department, where approximately 3,000 combination department, one of the largest in the United States, 3,000 people, over 50 stations, Korean volunteer, serving just about 1 million people over 600 square miles. And I say that not to brag, of course, but because I share with you today, it's a very diverse group here, the street corner and the corner office experience and insight. I'm going to share just a few stories, and I'll be out of your way, and I also want to let you know we're hiring about $60,000 a year. If you need jobs, make sure you look me up. But I'm joined here today by my wife. Please raise your hand, dear, if you. And we are humbled, yes. As I mentioned earlier, that's another thing you should learn. You got to check that box. And we're humbled to be a part of this very special day for you, your special day, a day of celebration, and a day that symbolizes new beginning, as well as a day of reflection. In 1903, Reverend C.S. Salveson transformed the Fair Hotel into a Christian college devoted to education, character, and service. Waldorf College, now university, has stood here in the heart of Forest City for more than a century, and it endures as a place where education and purpose meet. Lux et Veritas, that's your seal. Some people didn't know that. Light and truth. Light reveals, truth guides. You, our newest graduates, will take many paths. We know that. Years from now, some of you will be famous, some rich and famous, and many of you sought after in your field. It is my prayer that regardless of your status at any point on your journey, you all remember the same calling placed on every Waldorf graduate. I pray you remember the call to serve. Lux, light. In many ways, education is a form of light. What occurs within the classrooms here at Waldorf or online is illumination of the mind, the heart, and the spirit, providing light so that you can not only see your way, but you can also help others find theirs. Dr. Cheryl, again for you. In a small coastal town, there stood no lighthouse. For generations it had guided ships safely through the fog and darkness that rolled in from the sea. But one winter night, a violent storm knocked out the power across the entire town. The lighthouse went dark. Most people stayed inside, hoping, waiting for the storm to pass. The keeper, old man John, had recently fallen ill, but he had taken a liking to a young man named Christian, a young man that cleaned floors at a local factory to help support his large family. He had imparted in Christian the importance of that lighthouse for sailors in search of safe passage. Christian often heard him say, "Light is hope for someone you will never meet, you may never meet." It was this that inspired Christian to grab an old lantern, make his way to the lighthouse through the wet, stinging rain, every step heavier than the last. And when he finally made it to the lighthouse, he was cold and tired, but still began climbing the steep spiral stairs until he reached the top. The great electric beacon was solid, but Christian was undeterred and refused defeat. He placed the lantern in the center of the lighthouse window and began polishing a large glass lens by hand so it would reflect the lantern's glow. It wasn't the powerful beam the lighthouse once had, but it was light. Out at sea, a cargo ship that had been fighting the storm suddenly saw a faint glow through the rain and fog. The captain recognized the position of the lighthouse and turned the ship to safety and away from the rocks, which meant certain death. The next morning when the storm passed, word spread quickly how that ship had been saved. Christian was discovered asleep on the lighthouse floor beside the burned out lantern. When people thanked him, he simply said, light is hope, and made to be shared. Unbeknownst to Christian, that ship carried supplies for the town and medicine for the local hospital, specifically for a young woman who was deathly ill and would have surely perished if that ship had been lost. Her father was the wealthy owner of the factory where Christian worked. He saw Christian out, ultimately becoming a blessing to Christian and his family. Christian went from cleaning the factory to internship, management, and ultimately ownership. After marrying the young woman his actions saved. As corny as this story may sound to you, there will be moments in your life, not unlike Christians, where you can do nothing and be just fine. Or you can choose to do something for the benefit of others by putting yourself on the line. Follow your heart, follow your conscience. And today, as you enter the next chapter, Waldorf charged you to take your lessons, your light, and share it with the world. Your education, the light received here was not just preparation for employment. I know some of you parents feel differently. It is preparation for stewardship. A stewardship that comes with responsibility. The responsibility to use your talents wisely, to serve your communities with humility, to treat every person with dignity, and to be a light in places where darkness exists. The world is complex. There will be challenges that test your patience, moments that test your faith, and decisions that test your character, distort the truth, and seemingly dim your light. Before I go too much further, there's one additional responsibility, and this one's important, to lead with integrity. Like light, a leader's presence makes the past visible for others to advance, to achieve, and to overcome. Light empowers the travelers to move forward with confidence. Be a servant leader when you lead, because servant leaders do not stand at the top of a mountain shouting orders. They hold the light while leading the way. Well, Mr. Joe, how do I become a servant leader? I'm glad you asked. When you stand tall at the intersection of responsibility and sacrifice, regardless of your occupation, the number of followers, or your bank account, when you step forward as ever step back, when you are the voice of reason at the center of political dissension, when you comfort the grieving, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild what has been broken, yes. It's not about what you say. It's about what you choose or choose not to do. Your actions speak louder than your words. Servant leadership requires skill, courage, empathy, and discipline, and absolutely character. Character because each of you will eventually encounter moments when the rules are unclear, when the pressures are intense, when decisions must be made quickly, and the consequences are real. In those moments, training matters, experience matters, and who you are matters. And you are who you are when no one is looking. Here's an example. One random day, and against their protest, one particular servant leader decided to wash his followers' feet. Not for recognition, not for applause, not for clicks, and not for likes, but so that others would see, understand, and be inspired to humble themselves for the greater good. That is the essence of servant leadership, empathy over authority. Servant leaders do not seek the spotlight. You are the light. They illuminate the path so others can find their way. But even with the light, there remains the need for a compass, and that's the other word on that seal. The compass can be found in truth, veritas. Truth is important because it is the foundation on which trust, progress, and justice are built. Without truth, individuals and societies lose the ability to make sound decisions and hold one another accountable. I'm okay, Mr. President. One could argue that there has been a movement, a shift, perhaps a societal reversal of values in these United States. Anti-immigration policies, normalization of sex, violence, greed. It's what we see in advertising and pushed across the airways. Some of y'all still have Diddy and Lil Nas in y'all playlists, I'm sure. But it's okay. Isaiah 5:20 says, "Be wary of those who call evil good, darkness light, and bittersweet." And the day being 5:2, Joe says, "Be wary of a society that has lost its compass, a society that has devalued the truth. The absence of truth makes it difficult to trust. In any type of relationship, we rely on honesty to feel secure. When truth is present, confidence grows. When it is absent, suspicion and division take its place." So to be clear, truth guides good decisions. Truth creates accountability by equipping you to evaluate actions and hold others responsible for their behavior. Truth gives life integrity and meaning. Truth matters and will continue to matter. And truth also has a way of coming into the light. There was a dad that just happened to be the lead developer of an AI-based lie detection initiative, large corporation. He had a prototype in his study when he noticed his son wasn't home. So he decided to put it through some paces and have some fun. He rigged it so that if deception was detected, the lights in the room would blink. When the son came home, Dad called him into his study and asked, "Where have you been?" "The library." The lights blinked. "Son, that's not true. Where were you?" "I went to the movies." The lights blinked again. Dad explained what was happening and asked again with that serious look, and the voice says, "The truth." The son says, "Dad, I'm so sorry. I had a few drinks with the guys. Then we went to a frat party, smoked some weed. The baby oil came out and it turned into a freak off. I'm sorry. I was just, oh, that got your attention? I'm sorry, Dad. I was just curious. The dad is furious. It's hard for me to believe that a son of mine could make such bad choices because I would never do anything like that. The lights blink. During that last exchange, the mom had just entered the room. She said, honey, you know I still have Polaroids, receipts, and eyewitnesses to your bad choices. And that was mean what you said because we both know he's your son. The lights blink. Okay. So a vacant building, a moment of uncertainty, a leader who saw possibility, a vision that turned an empty hotel into a place where generations of students like you could discover their calling. The stage has been set for you and the curtain now rises. When you encounter challenges, see possibility. When you face darkness, bring light. When you are confronted with uncertainty, seek truth. And when the world needs leadership, needs your light, you shall step forward with humility, courage, and faith. Because the measure of a Waldorf graduate is not simply what you achieve, it is how you serve. It is how you lead. It is how you meet the challenges that will inevitably come. And it's the choices that you make, again, when no one is watching. We live in a world filled with noise, correction, bonus. And this is another one that, when I sent this actually to the president, he was like, but it's okay. It's okay. So bear with me. Now's a good time to get effed up. Not like that. Not like that. Yeah, that got your attention too. But here it is. Focused on a foundation of faith, family, friends, finances, fitness, and fun. Those are my F's that I build my life around because we all believe in something. If you believe, if you are Christian as I am, and whatever your faith is, we all believe in something. But faith, what do they say faith? I saw a family, raise your hand, and it was so beautiful to me. They were praying with their child before they came in here. Where you at? Are they out there? You don't want. Anyway, it was a wonderful scene when they were right outside the basketball hall. But again, prayer. But faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But if you're not a believer, faith is still a necessary component for personal motivation and goal achievement. And you all have family. You can't choose your family. Even the black sheep in your family, the one that shows up at the cookout, never brings anything. You can't choose them. They're still your family. And friends, everybody that says they're your friend is not your friend. Choose the friend that will call you sometimes random, like, what's going on, man? I'm just checking on you. And the friend that smile when you walk into the room. Finances, man, that's important. Don't get that. When you got that credit card, now here's the stuff I'm trying to tell you. Don't blow that thing up. If you broker and you so broke you can't pay attention, that's a problem. It makes life even more difficult. Learn to manage your finances. Fitness, take care of your body. Simple as that. And fun. It's good, clean fun. You got to have some fun. You got to have relief. I'm on my third wife because I worked too hard. I did. That's the last one, y'all. This is the last one. I promise, Dick. I love you so much. So, checking life's report card, it's okay to see F's as we move forward. And here's the final truth. God said, let there be light. With light, mankind has been able to see, navigate, and appreciate. One small light, your light, carried with conviction and courage, can guide many people along the right path. Be faithful and steadfast in your purpose. Every generation faces moments when darkness seems overwhelming. Man, I feel like, how they do that? When cynicism, division, or selfishness threaten to overshadow what is good. Yet history repeatedly shows that a single light, a single person can transform the darkness around them. We live in a world filled with noise, opinions, and uncertainty. Yet the human heart continues to search for something constant, something trustworthy. That is why truth matters. Truth is the light that allows people to see clearly and move forward with confidence. If the mechanical lights were turned off in this room and candles were distributed, as each candle came to life in the darkness, more light would enter the room while never diminishing the illuminating power of that first candle. Don't be afraid to share your light. Graduates of Waldorf, the world awaits you and your light. Even if you find yourself in what may feel like the valley of the shadow of death, know that the presence of that shadow also confirms the presence of light. And where there's light, there is hope. May you walk forward with discipline, integrity, and compassion. May you honor the dignity of every person you encounter. May your lives reflect the values of this great institution, and may the words on Waldorf seal guide you always. Lux et Veritas, light and truth. Congratulations, 2026 graduating class of Waldorf. One second. Go forward, serve well, and live well. May God bless our nation. May He bless this beloved institution, and may He bless and keep each one of you.